Alright, Shalom Hebrews. It's Israel been Israel for the Israelite Brotherhood. Alright, Hebrews, I ain't got to do no big old preparation for this video that I'm finna make on this cat right here. You know, he called himself a Karaite rabbi. You know, and he been talking bad, you know, making videos, you know, calling himself debunking Hebrew Israelites. And this is the thing. He's debunking Israelites in them camps. Oh, he love them camps, boy. He'll holler the camps. The camps. You know, if you listen to him, he hurry up and holler the camps. And he think that they represent the Israelite community. He think that the camps actually represent the Israelite community. And he think that if you're not in the camp, that you're a lone wolf. This guy is crazy. And to show you that, you know, he's crazy, you know, he even think that Egypt, right here, the continent Egypt, is not part of Africa. So, you know, you dealing with a person that tell lies and make up stuff. As the history the Karaites are known to do or credited with doing in the Jewish community, in the Jewish world, they are in opposition to rabbinic Judaism. It's like they done took their own and made their own rules. And I'm going to tell you, all there is some Khazars mixed with some Edomite Sephardics. When the Khazar Empire like collapsed and folded up under Islam, some of them Edomite Jews made it with some of them Khazars and so forth, and then that would produce the Karaite movement, and they will be opposition into established rabbinic Judaism that go back to us Hebrews abandon our heritage, when the people we abandoned our heritage to, who were already Babylonian scribes, went to Babylon, and then some of they mixed groups would be in opposition to them. You see what I'm saying? And they would want their own identity, but they all come from the Sephardi Jews, the Sephardims, and you know, one form or other. You know, the Sephardims is gonna be the bottom root, and you know, you got this one dude trying to get on. You know, he trying to get on. He be talking crap, and you got people believing in him. And, you know what I'm saying? He's starting to get a following. You know, it's like the people that ain't got no relevancy in the world and can't establish nothing or get nothing going on. Then, you know, they gonna try to ridicule us in some kind of way. And what he's did is, you know, he done focus on them camps, and he think that the camps represent the Israelite community and the Israelite people. You know, I admit it's a bunch of camps and it's a bunch of people that follow that stuff. And if you look at my videos that I got, you will see that I'm denouncing the camps, and I say that they use Jewish history. Matter of fact, it's a bunch of the camp members on my Facebook page, and man, I'm constantly teaching them that they using Jewish history. And then this is what this guy is gloating in. You know, he just love it because them Hebrews history is incorrect, and he know that those Hebrews are not Israelites based upon the history that they showing, and he just having a fun with it. He having a big time with it. And like I say, you know, them camps, man, they history off. You know, they using Jewish myths, the myths that them people created. You know, it's a lot going on in the Israelite community, and it's more than just picking up the book and just saying, hey, I'm an Israelite. You know, man, it's a whole bunch of stuff going on with this Israelite history, because we got people that's claiming the Israelite heritage, and these groups ain't trying to explain where these folks come from. They ain't trying to give you no type of insight on where these folks come from. And if they do, the first thing they gonna do is say, oh, they from Sephards, from Spain, or they from the Khazars. even though the Khazars did exist, but the Khazars came so late in the Jewish world. I'm talking about, man, like towards the end, when the Jews started developing all these different cliques, like the Karaites, like when it started being confusion in the Jewish community when Islam came about on what you know this should be and what Judaism should be, and then they start having groups come about, the Ananisms, you know what I'm saying. There's about 5-6 groups, men of Jews, that was in opposition to the Talmudic Jewish books, and we know that mostly the Talmudic academies, even though, Ashkenazi then got into Babylon and start writing books and sayings, and then how they was in opposition to the Sephardi Jews who been in the Israelite heritage longer than all of them, and then how that they would, create schools, Sur and Plumblita, them schools in the Mesopotamia area on the Euphrates, and how that they would have these schools, and then some of them teachers, they would have pupils that would go out and start cliques, and the pupils couldn't recite the original information that they had got, and then that started confusion. Man, they had all kind of confusion, just like how the Catholic Church broke up into all them different branches, like Baptist, Protestant, Methodist, and man, probably about 10 other different branches. Well, the same happened with Judaism after those Jews got our heritage, and then opposition started, within their branches, but opposition really gonna start between the Ashkenazi and the Sephardi Jews in the Promised Land after the Greeks showed up. That's when it first started to form, as I explained in a lot of other videos, how the exiles from Babylon was destroyed, destroyed real fast. The people who settled in the Promised Land after the Chaldean Wars, Ashkenazi, the Scythians, they destroyed the Assyrians, wiped the whole Assyrian population out, annihilated all of them. Well, that's what happened to the exiles. They was in the areas that the exiles were at, and the exiles disappeared, and then that little thin line of history was never kept. That little thin line of history of what happened to the exiles was never kept. It's like that little thin line right there. Well, it was a thin line on, what happened to the Israelites. And we have Tanakh history, the prophets from the exiles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi. They tell you the state and the conditions that the Israelites was in when they come back from Babylon. And then I prove in countless videos how that they disappeared, and how that the people who was placed in our land during our troubles, the Sephardi groups, and how Ashkenazi had settled after the Babylonian wars, and how we had abandoned our heritage to the Sephardi Jews who was placed in our land in 722 BC. And this is what I want to show too. If you listen to this guy's video right here, you gonna hear him always talking about the stranger. See, he's real slick and he's real deceptive. And then to show you how deceptive he is, look, he had the nerve to correspond with me. Can you believe it? That he exchanged messages with me? Okay, how about I've been trying to get him to go to Facebook to talk that mess on Facebook in the Israelite community and setting. I'm friends with a lot of Israelites, even though I don't communicate with all the Israelites. I'm still friends with them, and they on my friends list. And I'm sure a whole bunch of them be reading and trying to understand what's going on with the Israelite Brotherhood, How about this joker ain't never showed up? He ain't never showed up, and I don't think he gonna ever show up, for the simple fact is that he know that his movement and the ideology that he hold about Judaism is new, and it can be discredited real easy, and it's even opposition within the Jewish community about their realness. And I was reading some history about how Hitler didn't do nothing to the Karaites. You know, they could say, hey, we ain't Jews, you know what I'm saying? They could take all kind of sides. But like I say, this guy tell lies and he don't know no truth. And he even try to say that the Hebrews didn't run into Africa and that Egypt is not Africa. Look at this right here now. This is him right here. This is his site. This is his video. And as you see, look, he say, Egypt is not Africa. Egypt is not in Africa is what he trying to say. And then I got another post from him. You know, I exchanged a few posts with him, man, to where he say that the Hebrews didn't run into Africa and that's a lie. You see, he basically don't know Israelite history. Now, these supposed to be some people that read the Tanakh history and hold the Tanakh history in esteem, you see, in high esteem. But yet, some kind of way, he don't know that the Israelites ran into Africa. And that the Israelites, when they did run into Africa during the Babylonian Wars, never returned home. And I'm going to prove how this guy's a fraud and a con man, and how he trying to use them Israelites that don't know truth, the camps, as a stepping stone to be of relevancy in the Jewish community. See, the Jews will love him if he could fold some Hebrews up and make some Hebrews run off and leave their heritage. Then, you know, he gonna be the Jews' man, and then the Karaites might be elevated to another status. You know, they only had a golden year in the 9th, the 10th, and 11th BC. I was reading. You know, it's like them Jews. You know, they gonna tell on each other, and it's like all the other Jewish sects gonna tell on the Karaites, tell where they started, how they started, because the other Jews, the Sephardi's and the Ashkenazis, been around for almost 2,000, 2,500 years, you know what I'm saying, before the Karaites come about. So these people gonna be like an agitation to the Jewish community, but they not gonna bother them because they, you know, serve a purpose. That's like the Edomite Jews, you know. Well, say for instance, when they was in Baghdad and the Caliphate and the Islamic folks was in control, how about that they didn't do nothing to these folks? The leader, the guy who founded the Karaite movement, his name is, man, what's this joker name? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pull his name up. His name is Anan Ben David. You know what I'm saying? He started the Karaite movement, you know, and he started it in disagreement with his leaders, the Estrich and the Babylonian Jewish leaders, the Sephardi leaders. Like I told you, them Edomite Jews had mixed with some of them Khazars, and I'm gonna show you where they home is at. You see what I'm saying? Where they home is at, and then you will see that that them folks, you see this Ukraine right here, it's like the heart. This is where the heart of them Karaite was, you know, anything. And then this is Turkey. This is Turkey right there. And then this is the Caucasus Mountain, Tillus. And then all over here, you know, this gonna be these parts right here. That's gonna be up in here, all up in here. This is where the Karaites was. And this is where the Karaites, you know, people, you know, was found in the Middle Ages, and they went all through the Caucasus Mountain, and then they swung around this way at the top of Iran, and then they come on down, you know, like the Edomites, like the Edomites did in 70 AD when they swung on around these parts. They will go to all the places where the Sephardim, the Edomite Jews went. Wherever the Edomite Jews went, they would go. And like I said, they are a mixture with Ashkenazi also. You see, that's why come they couldn't live up in Ashkenazi Ukraine area, and then wouldn't have no mixture with them. That's like Hitler didn't destroy none of the Karaites. You know, people think that all Jews was took to the slaughter and all of them got burnt up and roasted and stuff. Not so. It's a whole bunch of Jews. Ashkenazi was even part of Hitler's army. He had 20 generals that was Ashkenazi. That was Ashkenazi practicing Jews. You know, the Sephardi's got robbed, you know, throughout the Mediterranean in Europe doing what's called the Holocaust. You know, I'm telling y'all what's going on. You know, they feed history incorrect to keep the people blind and confused, and then they rule over them through that confusion. You know, that's like Babylon means confusion, and then that's how, you know, our enemies rule. But look here, the Karaites, you know, they didn't get touched no kind of way. You know, Hitler even probably gave them a few gold coins and some land. You know, but the Karaites didn't get bothered during, you know, Hitler times. And then, you know, like I say, they come from all up in these parts, and anything up in these parts, you know, that's like the descendants of the Khazars. Another branch of them is gonna be them folks over there in Syria. Them man, I forgot them folks, the ones that the Turks fighting against. Man, whatever them devils name. I mean, it'll come to me in a minute. But anyway, you know, all them folks related. And then this is where they come from. Alright. And then this dude here, there will be their leader. And then he will be in opposition to what the Jews had created in Babylon. He gonna be like a breakaway, a runaway dude that trying to start his own clique. And then, you know, the Karaite, the Islamic leader snatched you know, had him snatched up, and they was gonna put him to death. And then, you know, one of those Muslims told him to say that he was, you know, didn't practice rabbinic Judaism, and how he was starting, you know what I'm saying, another clique, and how it's different, you know what I'm saying, than what the other Jews did. And then the Islamic dude turned him loose, and then that's how they movement kick off. And this is in the 9th century. So, you know, they ain't nothing. So this dude here doing all this screaming and hollering about who is an Israelite and who ain't, and trying to tell the people from the transatlantic slave trade that they are wrong on saying that we are Israelites. Man, this dude whole movement is whack. And like I showed you, you know, in one of his posts where he tried to say that Egypt is not even part of Africa. So, you know, he in denial about historical truth that the whole earth agree on, that Egypt is part of the African continent. And not only that, that the promised land is on the African plateau. You know, the plateau, man, it's part of Africa. It's the northeastest part of Africa. You know what I'm saying? The promised land. All right. I'm finna show y'all what this dude doing, and like I said already, is that he using the camps as a way to try to discredit our Israeliteness, the people from the transatlantic slave trade. Like I say, I ain't had to even hardly do no preparation on this video, because they movement is new. It's easily to find out history about the Karaites, and they ain't nobody. They, like he said in one of his videos, one of them Karaite teachers, is that they are a minority in a minority. That's because they are branch off from the original clique. You know, that's like, you know, these gangs and stuff. They have one big gang, and then the big gang be dominant, and then you'll have some people that's in disagreement within that gang, and then they start the little cliques. You see what I'm saying? So that's all that happened in Judaism, and it's a bunch of them. You know, Ashkenazi got some of them that did it, and the Sephardi's got some of them that did it, you know. And then it's like, you know, they all believe all kind of ways and stuff. But listen to this dude, man. He real slick. And I'm going to tell you how he tried to play up on the word strangers. Basically, his whole video, he's supposed to be debunking Hebrews. He crying about the strangers, not the oppressed and do the strangers wrong, I'm going to show you how slick he is. You know, like I say, that they got some Sephardi roots. So he going to know that they are the strangers in the Tanakh history that came to the Passover dinner under King Hezekiah. This is 7 years after the Sephardi's was placed in Samaria, that King Hezekiah let everybody come to the Passover dinner. He didn't care. And them Sephardi's came as strangers. And we got them down as strangers in Tanakh history. I'm going to show this. And this is what this dude be crying about. But he tried to disguise it under some other stuff. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, they going to find some weak Israelites that want to get along with the Jews and basically embrace what the Jews got going on to try to be in a we're all together, and you know, that type of mentality. You got a whole bunch of people in the so-called black community that got that mentality and stuff, and not knowing that integration is what destroyed us, and how did them people use integration as a way to undermine us in every which way that they can and so forth. But you got some Hebrews be trying to run to them folks and bow down and say, hey, I just want to be your friend and we can all get along, and you know what I'm saying, and scared because they can't stand up on their own with some real history. You know, if them Hebrews understood that we are the Israelites and that we don't have to seek no approval from these folks, and then how these people trying to deny our heritage. That's like in one video, this cat say that, well, this is a new movement with the Israelites in America. It is new. It's only a couple of decades old. Man, this man crazy. You see what I'm saying? For the simple fact that our people come over here enslaved. And then another thing, the original Israelites, the original Hebrews abandoned the covenant during the Babylonian Wars. Abandoned the covenant during the Babylonian Wars. So, you know, it's no problem with us not knowing who we are and that we are just now waking up. That's the whole plan. After doing the curses is to wake up. And that's what we doing. And they don't like it. They hate it, boy. They hate we waking up. And then how they go after the camps, boy. They be having a field day with the camps, you know, because the camps recite Jewish history. And then, you know, the camps given a pass by the government. And then how they on the street corners hooping and hollering and stuff. And I want to read this verse because Almighty Yah said his messenger and the one he uphold, you know, he ain't gonna be in the streets hooping and hollering and screaming and stuff. And then that's what them Jews, you know, relying on and stuff. They love that them Hebrews is in the streets hooping and hollering and ain't telling no truth and basically driving Hebrews away from their heritage. You know, I got a video expressing how within the Israelite community is almost like the Jewish community, has 50 different doctors. You got Hebrews on all kind of doctrines, and everybody, they kind of like the Karaites, the ones that don't know real Tanakh history. These Hebrews in the community, the camps who he discredited, are like the Karaites, where everybody draw their own conclusion from Tanakh, from the Bible, and they ain't got no biblical understanding, and how they take some history and don't know what it mean, where it come about, when the prophet came, when it was wrote. They don't know none of that. And then how did they try to pass the Jewish myths off as truth? Well, the Karaite movement started off like that, how they was in opposition to the rabbinic Jews and so forth. But like I say, them Hebrews just crying and hooping, hollering in the streets, that's giving them folks food to discredit the Israelite community and giving him some relevance. Look, behold my servant whom I uphold, mine elect in whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth judgment unto the Gentiles. Bring some truth to him. He shall not cry nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the street. Now, he ain't gonna lift up and be hollering and scooping in the streets, screaming up and down, pointing at folks and stuff, hollering Jewish myths. You know, the Creator said his elect. Let me read this again. This is Isaiah 42. Behold my elect, whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him. He shall bring judgment to the Gentiles. You know, he gonna bring some truth to them. He shall not cry, nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the street. But in the Israelite community, these Hebrews think that's how you be a Hebrew and get your message across, is to get out in the streets and start hooping and hollering. Well, you know, that ain't gonna work, and we see that the enemy get him a pass to do that. So therefore, it can't be no truth there. Because why would the enemy let you sit out and teach the community and people's truth? Somebody might hear what they saying. Evidently, people hear what they saying, as you see that they got a lot of followers and you know, views and people that, you know, associate with them. So, you know, the enemy gonna let them teach lies and so forth, and then that's why they in the streets. But back to this cat right here, this dude who's, you know, he been around for a few years, hooping and hollering about, you know, the fake black Hebrew Israelites. You know, we about the only ones that'll watch it and you know, pay some attention to it, because, you know, we know that we Israelites, and you know, it pisses us off for somebody to say we ain't the Hebrews, and then, you know, some of them Hebrews can't prove it, and then that's what, you know, giving him the food to keep on going on with this madness. But after you Hebrews watch the videos that I show and watch the history that I put down, you will see that he's really a waste of time, and that it's a bigger picture and stuff, and that, you know, these little off branches of the Sephardists and the Ashkenazis don't mean nothing. These the New Age Jewish folks. You know what I'm saying? We trying to get to the rabbinic leaders of Judaism that control the promised land. That's gonna be David, Lou, and that other Jew, Yosef Yitzhak, or something like that. Them the ones that's calling shots over there. These folks over the Karaites don't mean nothing, because they know that them folks just popped up, and that they popped up out of chaos and turmoil within the Jewish community. But like I say, this dude real slick. That's right, lights out for him. Lights out. Look, this dude real slick, and then he, you know, his whole message, you know, he out after he ridiculed the camps for using those Jewish myths. Then he started crying about the strangers and so forth. How the strangers should be accepted and you shouldn't dog them out. Like I say in the book, 2 Chronicles chapter 30, with King Hezekiah, the Sephardims came to the Passover as strangers, and those gonna be them people, the Sephardi Jews.
Listen. Against Scripture is the fact that many of them believe, not all, but the majority of them believe that only the Hebrews, the so-called Hebrew Israelites, are the ones who are worthy of salvation, and they're the only ones who are going to be saved, and that the strangers, non-Israelites, have no part of the covenant. And this is where knowledge comes in actual study. This is where these fools don't know their studies.
Hey, let me tell you also, Hebrew, he a loudmouth now. He's a fool with confidence. A fool with confidence. Now, he's one of those. A fool with confidence. He don't know what's going on, but he got confidence. And that's where his boisterous crap talking come from. You see what I'm saying? He's a fool with confidence, and then that's what he is. So he talk crap and this and you fools, and basically he's talking about the camps. He ain't talking about the Hebrews that don't use Jewish myths, and them gonna be the ones that he called the solo Jews. You know what I'm saying? The solo Israelites, the solo acts. Man, it's the Israelite Brotherhood. You ain't gonna see us in the streets hooping and hollering, and you probably ain't gonna never know who all the Israelite Brotherhood member is. You hear me and know who I am, because I put the history out for the Israelite Brotherhood. It don't take 15 of us. It don't even take 2 of us. 1 of us can do it. And then that's me. And that's my job. And also, I'm the founder of the Israelite Brotherhood. So you getting truth straight from the organization source. You see what I'm saying? And I don't need everybody to be doing no history. Especially while I'm doing it. Well, this cat right here, he's slick. And then, look at this. He say the solo acts, he against any Hebrews, many say that the solo acts that's not in the camps, you know what I'm saying? And he mad because his Hebrews not in the camps because he know he can ridicule the camps and make the camps look bad. But here goes some more Hebrews just popping up that ain't in the camps and that's denounce the camps and then they show real Israelite history. You see, that's what the Israelite Brotherhood is about. That's what the Israelite Brotherhood is about. All right, listen to this cat.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33 says, when a stranger lives among you in the land, you shall not do him wrong. You shall treat the ger. Ger is the Hebrew for stranger.
He is the stranger. They the strangers.
You shall treat the ger as a
native,
meaning they were there first.
And look,
among you. You shall love
he real
him.
Slick. And the Karaite Jews are basically Amorites. They are the founders of Babylon. They are called Sephardim. Sephardim is the Hebrew word for Sephardi. And Sephardi were Amorites from Babylon. They were Amorites from Babylon, and then they settled. They were placed in Samaria. And it's like, they was being reunited with their homeland. But you see, Amorite equals Sephardim. Sephardim is the Hebrew word for Sephardi. Sephardic and Sephardim, they're Canaanites. And then like I explained, how the Amorites and the Hittites mixed up and so forth. And then that's how the Amorites would lose their pigmentation. That's how their kids would lose their pigmentation. All right, they wouldn't have no pigmentation because, them Canaanites and them Amorites mix. But, the Sephardim, I'm going to show the Hebrews where they come from, too. Also, listen to them.
As yourself. Now, what they will lie about and say, no, these are also Hebrew Israelites that are just becoming Hebrew Israelites. No, because it wouldn't say love him as yourself if they were part of themselves.
See,
it's a stupid argument they come up with.
They the strangers.
Leviticus 24 verse 22.
All right. He just made this video
for the stranger, the heir.
After I got on him and been showing him some truth, he went and hurry up and made the video.
15 verse 16.
He they the strangers.
You and the stranger shall have the same Torah.
Look.
Zechariah chapter 7 verse 10.
Man, he begging to get in the Israelite community. Now this is his old video. Listen to him. He talking about the strangers on here want to be accepted and don't want us to hold them accountable and so forth.
Go walking through the desert to Egypt. It's better and easier at that time, if you know the ancient world, which you don't know the land, it's easier at that time to take ships. That's what they did. So the information will be down below. Yes, we were taken to Egypt as slaves, and nobody wanted to buy us. That's what the prophecy... Look,
Hebrew, I'm going to show you how he telling a lie. And I'm glad I had just pulled this up not too long ago. And it should be still here. How to ransom the captives. I tell you that the Jews been in control of Egypt since we abandoned our heritage. That the exiles, that 1%, that 10th that come back from Babylon, were destroyed, and then how the Jews took Egypt over. It's a little more history, to explain. It's like during the Babylonian Wars. The 99%, all the tribes ran into Africa to live during the Babylonian Wars. And then how 1% was captured and taken to Babylon, and, the Mesopotamian area. And then how they returned home, and, after the Babylonians were defeated by the Persians in 538 BC. And then when they come home, how, they were sinning so bad. That's the book of Ezra, Nehemiah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. that allowed the Greeks come in to destroy them real fast. And then I show how the Ptolemies and the Lycimus and them Greek generals descendants start claiming the Israelite heritage real fast, and how they would control Egypt. Okay, when Jews was captured in battle or anywhere, that they was redeemed in Egypt, and then how that they was bought and saved and so forth, and how he trying to use that scripture in the Tanakh history about how nobody would buy us, meaning that nobody would redeem us. Nobody would redeem us from our servitude and our bondage that we was going through during the transatlantic slave trade. Nobody brought no gold out to the our captors and say, here, take this, free all them. You know, it's like I explained in other videos that all Africans or all people, all tribes of Africa wasn't taken into slavery. You know, you got the Berbers, the Tutsis, the Pygmies, the Ethiopians, the Egyptians, man, a whole host of other Africans that never made it to slavery and so forth, and how that they only, you know, went to a certain areas in the Sahara and kidnapped folks. And we would be those people that ran into Africa during the Babylonian Wars, that went deeper into Africa, you know, when the Babylonians took Egypt over and so forth. I'm going to, you know, read that history. It's in the Tanakh. All right, look, you see, captives, ransoming me. The religious duty to ransom a fellow Jew captured by slave dealers or robbers or imprisoned unjustly. Now, this is in the Jewish encyclopedia, man. This is the Jewish encyclopedica. You see what I'm saying? This telling you that Jews were redeemed. You know, the religious duty to ransom a fellow Jew captured by slave dealers or robbers or imprisoned unjustly by the authorities to be released against ransom paid by the importers, you know, the folks who, you know, enslaved them and so forth. And that's part of their history and part of their religious order and so forth. So that when, you know, the folks was brung into Egypt, you know, the community of Alexandria imposed a special levy upon its wealthy members or captives, were often Jews who had been imprisoned, and consequences of you know, wars and stuff that they had going on. You know, they might get caught up. You know, they might be siding against one group, and another group might take that group prisoner and then say, hey man, we're going to sell all them. And then they take them to Egypt and sell them where other folks was being sold already and so forth. So, you know, in the Middle Ages and in antiquity, the Jews redeemed their own people, and that's part of their literature and history, that they got an oath, and it's written down in all their books and so forth about how that they have to ransom each other and help each other. You know what I'm saying? And there was a lot of Jewish selling during the Islamic times when the Muslims had Egypt, as they do now, and they would sell some of them Jews. Well, them Jews are redeemed, they folks. They'll buy they folks up out of slavery and so forth. But that didn't happen with the Israelites that was transported to captivity during the transatlantic slave trade, and how nobody would redeem us and how nobody would buy us out of slavery. So, you know, him saying that junk, you know what I'm saying, they show you how he's wicked and don't know truth.
28:68. No one will buy you. You will be.
Nobody bought us out of the troubles that we was in, but whereas the Jews could be bought out of their troubles, as I just showed. You know, let me say it's another video with this devil. Listen to him crying about the strangers.
Let's get to the point. Is Israel our land? Were we in Israel before, or would these liars say, all of you who believe that Israel's not in their land and they were never there before, and they just basically invented the case that they were the Jews and went to the land of Israel? I'm going to prove you wrong right now. Ignatius.
Man, dude, whack. Listen, his history is whack, and if you listen to him, he don't have no arguments, and this is how he try to lure folks in. Israelite debate Jewish rabbi. But there's no Israelite debating him. He ain't talking to nobody. And if he spoke to anybody, he gonna be speaking to them camp dudes, them Israelites in them camps that don't know no history, that don't know no truth. Is who he gonna be rapping with. He ain't gonna rap with no Hebrew that's using Jewish myth-free history, because it's not that many of us. It's only a few of us. And if you ain't studied with the Israelite Brotherhood, 9 out of 10, you gonna be using Jewish myths. Man, it take 80, 90,000 hours to separate the Jewish myths out the Israelite history. And if you ain't did that or ran across a Hebrew that's affiliated with the Israelite Brotherhood, then you're going to be using Jewish myths. There ain't no question about that. You know, you're going to be using Jewish myths. And the Jewish myths going to be that 10 lost tribe junk, and that Hebrews ran across Africa in 70 AD, as these folks' history is. It's them people right here that ran across Africa, you know, during them times. And that's like this here. Look, the so-called golden age of the Karaite movement lasted from the end of the 10th to the beginning of the 11th century, when the Karaite communities appeared throughout the Middle East, the Byzantine Empire, Constantinople, the Caucasus, Northern Africa, and different estimates around 30 to 40% of the Jewish population at the time followed the Karaite movement. You know, the Karaite movement ain't nothing but the Jews that's in opposition, that them Edomite Khazar mixtures that was in opposition to the Jewish establishment in Babylon that's been there a long time. All right, now let me get to where this dude be crying about the strangers and how you had to treat the strangers right, and you know he put extra emphasis on that, and he trying to be slick and undermined it, knowing that they are the strangers, and how he begging for us to treat them right and treat him right. Okay, Hebrews, if you go to second Kings, you know, let's get established on who they are first, and off the and where his roots come from, even though he's a branch off, but this would be his roots right here. If you go to Second Kings chapter 17 verse 24. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cuddar, and from Abel, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children Israel. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. So you see that word Sepharvaim, that's the Sephardies. You know, that's the Hebrew word for Sephardi. You know, that's the only word they ain't translate. And Sephardi and Sepharvaim are ethnic pointer terms. They gonna want you to say, they gonna want you to think that Sephardi means Spain, Sephard. You know, they full of crap in how Sephard was they name before Spain even existed as a nation or even a name. Spain or Portugal. And that's like Ashkenazi. Ashkenazi don't mean Germany. Ashkenazi is a name that exists before Germany was even, you know, in existence and so forth. So they cold with popping game. We dealing with Babylonian scribes. But we see that's where the Sephardims come from, and we're gonna show you, you know, I'm gonna show you where the strangers come from, and how he always hollering strangers, man, in his video. Don't do the strangers bad. Don't do the strangers this way. If you listen to him, he crying about the strangers. Well, I'm gonna show you who the strangers is, and this is also getting rid of that 10 lost tribe myth too. You see, if you read Second Chronicles chapter 30, this is in 715 BC. This is 7 years after the so-called Assyrian captivity, where that myth got that 10 lost tribes went off to Europe, and that devil will even try to say that the Hebrews went through the European gateway into Europe and so forth. And Second Chronicles showed us a lot. And then how the Hebrews was around in Manasseh time, and then in King Amon time, and King Josiah, before we was all driven into Africa. All right, you see this King Hezekiah. All right, and Hezekiah was having a Passover dinner and he was calling everybody to the Passover. And he wanted us all to come to the Passover dinner, and how did them Sephardims that was placed in 722 BC came to the Passover dinner. Let me read this real quick. And Hezekiah sent to all Israel. Now, he didn't send to all Israel. Hezekiah did. And he wanted us to come to the Passover dinner. And he was trying to get us all together. You know, if it wasn't for, King Hezekiah trying to get us together, this was the beginning of us trying to get on the right foot and so forth. After being on the Egyptian religion for a long time, the Creator and sent the Assyrians in to rough us up a little bit, hoping that would have discouraged us from that religious practices we was doing in the land that wasn't sanctioned by Prophet Moses and the law that he came with. So, all right. And Hezekiah sent to all Israel and Judah and wrote letters unto Ephraim and Manasseh that they should come to the house of the Elohim at Jerusalem to keep the Passover unto the Elohim of Israel. For the king had taken counsel and his princes and all the congregation in Jerusalem to keep the Passover in the second month, for they could not keep it at that time because the priests had not sanctified themselves sufficiently, neither had the people gathered themselves together to Jerusalem. And the thing pleased the king and all the congregation, so they established a decree to make proclamations throughout all Israel from Beersheba even to Dan. That's the whole inheritance. Let me show you that's the whole inheritance, and how that the people that the people were still in the land. All right, so if he sent the letter from Beersheba to Dan, if he sent the letter from Beersheba to Dan, then them Hebrews gonna still be there. So let's look at this. From Beersheba to Dan, he sent the letter. This is King Hezekiah. This is in 715 BC. You see Beersheba all the way to Dan. And then this is after the Assyrian captivity. And you're going to see that everybody is still home, and that the strangers that come to the land that Jew is crying about is them. They the strangers. They the strangers. All right. So they established a decree to make proclamations throughout all Israel from Beersheba even to Dan, that they should come to keep the Passover unto the Elohim of Israel at Jerusalem, for they had not done it of a long time in such sort as it was written. So the post went with the letters from the king and his princes throughout all Israel and Judah, according to the commandment of the king, saying, Ye children of Israel, turn again unto the Elohim Yah of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, and he will return to the remain of you that are escaped out of the hands of the kings of Assyria. So we know we escaped the Syrians, and that they 10 tribe myth is a lie. And be not ye like your fathers and like your brethren, which trespass against the Elohim Yah of their father, who therefore gave them up to desolation, as ye see. The Syrians took the army and tried to get them to help them fight against them Scythians, who would become Ashkenaz. I got all this in all the videos. Now be ye not stiff-necked as your fathers were, but yield yourselves unto the Elohim, and enter into his sanctuary, which he had sanctified for forever, and serve the Elohim your Yah, that the fierceness of his wrath may turn away from you. For if ye turn again unto the Elohim, your brethren and your children shall find compassion before them that led them captive, so that they shall come again in this land. And then the ones that they did take came home, and what's called the Satai history of Egypt, when the Assyrians put the Satai kings on, and we was all fighting against the Babylonians before we was driven in Africa. And that's what the book of Jeremiah is about. All right, so the post passed from the cities through the country of Ephraim, Manasseh, even unto Zebulun, but they laughed them to scorn and mocked them. Nevertheless, the verse of Asher and Manasseh and Zebulun humbled themselves and came to Jerusalem, and all in Judah in the hand of the Elohim was given to them to one heart to do the commandment of the king and the prince by the word of the Elohim, and there assembled at Jerusalem much people to keep the feast of unleavened bread in the second month, a very great congregation. So everybody was there, and it was a big old gathering. And they arose and took away the altars that were at Jerusalem, and all the altars for incense took they away and cast them in the brook Kidron. Then they killed the Passover on the 14th day of the second month, and the priests and the Levites were ashamed and sacrificed themselves and brought in burnt offerings into the houses of Elohim, and they stood in their place after the manner according to the law of Moses, the man of Yah, and the priests sprinkled the blood which they received of the hand of the Levites, for there were many in the congregation that were not sanctified. Therefore the Levites had the charge of the killing of the Passover for everyone that was not clean, to sanctify them unto the Elohim. For a multitude of the people, even many of Ephraim, Manasseh, Ishkar, Zebulun, had not cleansed themselves. See, them Hebrews still in the land. And this is in 715 BC. You know, the Syrian captivity myth is a lie. And had not cleansed themselves, yet they did eat the Passover, otherwise that it was written. But Hezekiah prayed for them, saying, the good Elohim pardon everyone that prepared his heart to seek Yah. And the Elohim Yah of his fathers, though he be not clean according to the purification of the sanctuary. And Elohim hearkened unto Hezekiah and healed the people. And all the children of Israel that were present at Jerusalem kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with great gladness. And the Levites, the priests, praised the Elohim day by day, singing with loud instruments unto the Elohim. Boy, they was having a good time. Boy, they was having a good time. And Hezekiah, and this is after the Assyrian captivity. Now, how they gonna be having such a good time? He just told you that everybody escaped the Assyrians. Look, 6. So the post went with the letters from the king and his princes throughout all Israel and Judah, according to the commandment of the king, saying, ye children of Israel, turn again unto the Elohim Yah of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, and he will return to the remainder of you that are escaped out of the hand of the king of Assyria. See, so them devils be lying. Them devils be lying. But as you see, everybody was at the Passover dinner. And they were singing and having a good fun. Now this is the strangers that came. Them Sepharvims that was placed in 722 BC. Who that dude keep crying about love the strangers. In all his videos, he gonna say, love the strangers. Don't do the strangers bad. Don't. Because he know that's them. They are the strangers. Look, and Hezekiah spake comfortably unto all the Levites that taught good knowledge of the Elohim, and they did eat throughout the feast 7 days, offering peace offerings and making confessions to the Elohim Yah of their fathers. And the whole assembly took counsel to keep other 7 days, and they kept another 7 days with gladness. Boy, they was having a good time. For Hezekiah, king of Judah, did give to the congregation 1,000 bullocks, 7,000 sheep, and the princes gave to the congregation 1,000 bullocks and 10,000 sheep. Man, it had to be millions of folks there. Man, one sheep, one bullock gonna feed so many people. You know, and that's just what the king gave. You know, the king gonna get the most. Look, and all the congregation of Judah with the priests and the Levites. Look, let's read this again, because here go the strangers who he crying about that came to the Passover dinner. For Hezekiah, king of Judah, did give to the congregation 1,000 bullocks and 7,000 sheep, and the princes gave to the congregation 1,000 bullocks and 10,000 sheep, and a great number of priests sanctified themselves, and all the congregation of Judah with the priests and the Levites, and all the congregation that come out of Israel. See, they still there. And the strangers that come out of the land of Israel and that dwell in Judah rejoice. Now, that's him. That's them. Look, you see the strangers? You see it say strangers right there. That's who he talking about in the videos. Don't dog them out. Don't do them bad. Don't do the strangers bad. Don't do the strangers bad. That's him. That's them. They the strangers. And then he is a new sect. The Karaites are new. They ain't nothing but some break-offs. You know, we don't even respect break-offs. If you from a big major clique, you don't respect the break-offs. How y'all gonna break off from the, you know what I'm saying, from the big house and go create you a little house? Well, that's what they did. That's what the Karaites did. So there was great joy in Jerusalem, for since the time of Solomon, the son of King David of Israel, there was not the like in Jerusalem. Then the priests of the Levites arose and blessed the people, and their voice was heard, and their prayer come up to the holy dwelling place, even unto heaven. The Creator heard us up in the heavens. They was having such a good time. But this what he talking about, don't do the strangers bad. Don't do the strangers bad. Because he know that they are the strangers. You know, and like I say, the Karaite movement is new. They got plenty of history up. You know what I'm saying? This one of they leaders and writers that's supposed to be good look, and then they supposed to follow the Torah and the Tanakh literally. Then if he followed the Torah in the Tanakh literally, then he would know that the Tanakh said this from the prophet, that the Hebrews ran into Africa. Now this is gonna come. Let's go to 2 Kings 25, and then we're gonna go to the prophet Jeremiah. So he ain't following the Tanakh history. He's a liar, as I showed that he said that Egypt is not even in Africa. Man, that man crazy. All right. 2 Kings chapter 25, verse 26. 2 Kings 25, verse 26. And all the people, both small and great, and the captains of the armies arose and came to Egypt, for they were afraid of the Chaldeans. Now that happened during the Babylonian Wars, when we was tricked out of our heritage into Africa to do the Egyptian religion. You know, and then he slick and say that dude there, he gonna say, you should have seen who you was writing to before you. No, you feel that way now. I know you wish you wouldn't have never spoke to me. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm finna show you some real Israelite history. We don't do Jewish mess around here. Not the Israelite Brotherhood. Alright, everybody was chased into Africa during the Babylonian Wars. If you go to Jeremiah chapter 44, the second verse, let you know that the land was empty and that we had got chased out. That little 1% went to Babylon. And then how we played with the Creator on our way to Egypt. You know, we even played with the Creator. You know, we told the prophet Jeremiah to go ask the Creator what we should do. You know, the folks that already burnt the temple up and then chased us out the land. And then we asked the Creator what we should do. We was on Egyptian religion. You know, King Josiah had cleaned the land up like that prophecy calls for. The Egyptians come killed him, put us on Egyptian religion, and then the Babylonians came and we were running to Africa. It's that simple. You know, look. Then all the captains of the forces, and Johan the son of Ker, and Zaniah the son of Hoshea, and all the people from the least even unto the greatest came near and said unto Jeremiah the prophet, let we beseech thee, our supplication be accepted before thee, and pray for us unto the Elohim thy Yah, even all this remain. For we are left but a fruit of many, and then eyes do behold. We was all pitiful, wet, sad and stuff, laying and burnt up. We on the run, hungry, nasty, going into Africa to never be returned, to never return. These Hebrews right here that I'm reading about went into Africa, never returned home, never come back when the Babylonian wars ended by the Persians. King Cyrus and them whooped the Babylonians and freed the exiles from Babylon, and they come home. And how we that went into Africa to worship their religion never come back home. That's why that devil say Egypt don't exist. Egypt Egypt is not in Africa. You know, because he know. You know, you dealing with the real now. All right. That the Elohim thy Yah may show us the way wherein we may walk. And you see, we was on our way to Egypt. We had got chased off the land, and prophet Jeremiah caught up with us, and we told him to go to the Creator and see what we should do. And we was dirty and low down when we did that, because we went into Africa. Look, that the Elohim that Yah may show us the way wherein we may walk in the things that we may do. Then Jeremiah the prophet said unto them, I have heard you. Behold, I will pray unto the Elohim your Yah according to your words, and it shall come to pass that whatsoever thing the Elohim shall answer you, I will declare it to you. I will keep nothing back from you. Then they said unto Jeremiah, the Elohim be a true and faithful witness between us if we do not even according to all the things for that which the Elohim thy Yah shall send to thee. You know, to tell us to do that, we gonna do it, is what we were saying. And it come to pass after 10 days that the word of the Elohim came unto Jeremiah. Then called he Johan the son of Ker, and all the captains of the forces which were with him, and all the people from the least even unto the greatest, and said unto them, This said the Elohim, the Yah of Israel, unto whom ye sent me to present your supplications before him. If ye will still abide in this land, then will I build you, and not pull you down, and I will plant you, and not pluck you up, for I repent me of the evil that I have done unto you. But be not afraid of the king of Babylon, of whom ye are afraid, and then they gonna say, don't go into the land of Egypt, and don't go there, and go back to the promised land, and stay there, and don't go. And then this is what we said. And it come to pass that when Jeremiah, this is 43, and it come to pass that when Jeremiah had made an end of speaking unto all the people, all the words of the Elohim their Yah, for which the Elohim their Yah had sent him to them, even all these words, then spake Azariah the son of Hosea, and Johan the son of Ker, and all the proud being, saying unto Jeremiah, Thou speakest falsely. The Elohim our Yah hath not sent thee to say, Go not into Egypt to sojourn there, but Baruch the son of Ner setteth thee on edge against us, for to deliver us into the hand of the Chaldeans, that they may put us to death and carry us away captive to Babylon. See, and then we would go on into Africa and stay till the transatlantic slave trade started, and we didn't get nobody to redeem us during the transatlantic slave trade. So when you Hebrews run across dudes like this that be talking that smack, all you got to do is go see what form of Judaism he doing. See what form of Judaism he doing, and then the Jews gonna give it up on their own. If he a breakaway clique, they gonna point it out. If he a breakaway clique, they gonna point it out. So he ain't talking about nothing. And like I say, he's a fool with confidence. Is all it is. A confident fool. Gonna be boisterous and loud talking, and that's what this sucker been doing about the Israelite community. And he been picking on them Hebrews that's been using that Jewish myth, them Jewish lies and so forth. And that's what make these suckers relevant, when them Hebrews be using those Jewish myths, thinking that they kicking some real Israelite history, making these off branch relevant and so forth. He hooping and hollering and having a good time because ain't no Hebrews been able to dispose what he say. Who gonna be able to disprove those Jewish myths if you claiming them Jewish myths as your history? You ain't gonna be able to. You see what I'm saying? And them Hebrews he been taking advantage of like some little babies, like shooting some fish in the bucket is what he doing and stuff. When he dealing with them camps, he shooting fishes in the bucket. You know what I'm saying? They don't know no Jewish history, and that's why he get mad and call you a solo act if you ain't with the camps and you standing up. Because they wish that the camps represented the Israelite community, but they don't. You got Hebrews of all walks of life, and the vast majority of us are in disagreement with the doctrines that the camp push, because we know that they pushing Jewish myths. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Wake up, Hebrews. This dude, he ain't talking about nothing.